Miranda Lambert has never tried to hide the truth. Whether she's singing about her feelings, making fun of ex-boyfriends, or even calling out fans during a show, she does it all. It doesn't matter if you love her or hate her. Her work is based on being honest and true to herself. Miranda does more than just sing. She has a powerful voice and words that make you feel everything. She writes songs about heartbreak, strength, and even the sad truths of domestic abuse. Fans have been hooked on her for years because she's not afraid to get messy, emotional, and real. However, Miranda's rise to fame has not been easy, even though she seems brave and unwilling to say sorry. There is a story of sadness, struggles, and personal fights behind the platinum records, awards, and straightforward attitude that most fans don't even know about. Hold on tight, because we're letting you see into the life of the country queen. Keep reading to find out why Miranda Lambert's death is such a sad story. Miranda Lambert's life before she became famous. It all began in a small town in Texas with Rick and Bev Lambert as parents. They had no idea they were going to raise a hero. Of course, Miranda was just a little girl before she was on award show stages. She was named after her great-grandmother. Being raised in a house that was actually full of secrets. Rick, her dad, used to be a police officer in Dallas and now plays country rock guitar. He used to have his own band. But when he quit his job, he and Bev started their own private investigation company. Imagine living with your parents as a child and seeing them as real-life Sherlock and Watson. Crazy, huh? Life was pretty good for a while. The house was nice for the family. They have 2 kids, dogs, and even some animals. The Texas oil crash, on the other hand, made things quickly worse. They lost everything before they knew it because they couldn't find any work and their bills kept coming in. They had to start over, so they packed up and went to Lindale, a small town that Bev chose because she liked the schools there. They rented a small piece of land, put Miranda in 1st grade, and tried to put their lives back together. But while the kids and animals were getting used to it, Rick was having a hard time. Not good. He was depressed and would go on long trips to Dallas to look for work, only to feel even worse when he got back. At one point, the family was living in a broken-down house that was full of rats. For Bev to be the best ride-or-die mom, she prayed every day to God to give her steady ground. Also, guess what? Soon after, an old priest showed up and offered them a much nicer house for much less rent if they could fix it up. Talk about God stepping in. This is where things really get interesting. Rick and Bev were hired by Paula Jones's lawyers to look into President Bill Clinton after they moved to Lindale. They dug up trash for 2.5 years that was later used to charge Clinton with a crime. They turned their house into a shelter for victims of domestic abuse when they finally got paid. Miranda grew up in the middle of all this chaos, and people who needed help were always coming to their house. She said, "Our house was always full of people. It's just a very old farm." Friends of mine who lived in the city had all sorts of cool things, like swimming pools and 4-wheelers. We had a yard and lived in the country. Still, they kept saying, "Let's go to your house." I'd ask, why? I now understand that it was because my house felt so like home. We took in everyone. At the same time, Miranda wasn't the top student in her class, but she worked hard at things she enjoyed, like singing. When she was 10, her dad took her to see Garth Brooks. That was the last time she saw him. The people yelling, the lights, and the energy hit her like a ton of bricks. "Dad, I want to do that someday," she told her father. Rick, being her biggest supporter, was all in. He got her a guitar and tried to teach her, but teenage Miranda had other interests: cheerleading, dancing, the usual high school stuff. Still, deep down, the music bug was there. But like most teens, she also struggled. She wasn't into makeup, rocked oversized t-shirts and baggy pants, and felt totally out of place. "I was hideous," she later joked, but no matter how she saw herself, her family had her back 100%. Then at 16, she heard about the True Value Country Showdown, a huge competition for up-and-coming country artists. She told her parents she wanted in, so Rick helped her record 2 of his original songs. She made it in, performed and lost. But instead of giving up, she took the feedback and ran with it. Then there was the Johnny High Country Music Review in Arlington, Texas, the same show that helped launch LeAnn Rimes. And from there, things started rolling. She even went to Nashville to cut a demo, thinking this was her big break. But hold up, turns out Nashville was not what she expected. The industry suits wanted her to sing pop music, and she hated every second of it. The songs were awful and cheesy, she later admitted. Then came the moment of truth. Miranda broke down in the studio crying her eyes out. She recalled, "After I cried in the studio, my dad spent $6,000 to do those demos, and we didn't have $6,000 at all. It was terrible. But he says it was a cheap lesson because I learned in 3 hours what I wanted to do." And just like that, Miranda Lambert's future as a true gritty country artist was set in stone. How Miranda Lambert paved her own way in country music. Instead of waiting around for someone else to write the songs she wanted to sing, she storms home and asks her dad to teach her to play the guitar. And the second she got her hands on it, she started writing her own music. She even admitted, "I was a cheerleader but always had to stay after. Music was the first thing I did where I was naturally talented." While still in high school, she put together a band called Texas Pride, and before you knew it, they were landing gigs. Their first professional singing engagement was at Deep Ellum's Gypsy Tea Room in Dallas. From there, Miranda locked in a regular spot as the house band at the legendary Rio Palmal Ballroom in Longview, which was 45 miles from home. That meant grinding 4 hours a night, 3 nights a week, then dragging herself back to Lindale at 4 a.m. and still waking up for school. Even her parents were shook by how determined she was. "My parents were shocked about how passionate I was about it, but they basically dropped everything and just gave it everything they had. I learned so many songs. I learned how to deal with fans and drunks. It was a crash course, and I had to learn really fast." She revealed she really felt the pressure. Her future was up in the air, and it freaked her out. "I would tell my 17-year-old self that it's all going to be okay," she later reflected. Her mom, being the ultimate momager, started hunting for talent competitions, and eventually, Miranda landed one in Dallas. That led to a contract with an agency, a tiny role in a Ruffles potato chip ad, and even a part in the 2011 comedy Slap Her. She's French. Meanwhile, she came this close to playing Tammy Wynette in Stand By Your Man, finishing second out of 400 contenders. But the real grind started when she dropped her self-titled debut album. This wasn't some big label project. Her dad paid $2,000 to get it made. Her brother built a website to sell it, and her mom turned into her personal booking agent, driving her around to radio stations and clubs. The family even got themselves a motorhome with a full sound system and equipment trailer. Talk about all in, right? After graduating early, Miranda Lambert went full throttle with music. "This is my college. I can't study in a book what I've learned just being out there and doing it," she said, recalling how breaking into the industry as a woman was definitely not easy. At first, it was hard to break in because the clubs believe chicks don't draw. Plus, they're expecting you to get up there and sing Broken Wing. I don't do that. I'm a guitar player and a writer. Still, she wasn't about to let that stop her. She was making waves on the Texas music charts by early 2003, and she was tearing up the Texas music scene by 2002. The big one came next. She competed in another talent show and got first place in the Texas auditions for Nashville Star, a singing competition that takes place across the country. It was a big time. Miranda packed her bags and left home for the first time when she was 19 to follow her dreams in Nashville. 5 months later, she came in third place out of 8,000 other candidates. She got in touch with the right people, even though she didn't win. Sony music producer Tracy Gershon, who was one of the show's judges, saw something special in Miranda and got the label to sign her. There was no doubt about it after September 15, 2003. Miranda Lambert signed with Sony to make music. Miranda has always been thankful for Nashville Star. She once said, "Don't get it twisted, I always say that Nashville Star saved me from 5 more years in the honky-tonks. She wasn't scared just because she signed a promise. They made me afraid that they would change me. I thought they would make my unique songs sound like every other record on the street. I didn't want it to sound like every other Nashville song." I have my own style. I want to be my own person. A lot of beautiful girls can sing. I've always wanted to be different. So, how did she handle that fear? By keeping it real with the label. We had a meeting. All the Sony people were there. I sat down at the head of the table, crossed my hands, and said, "Okay, this is who I am." And I just laid it out. I'm from Texas. I write my own stuff. I have something to say. I'll never dance around on stage in a halter top. I will always play my guitar. Now, if I can't make a record that reflects me honestly, I'd rather just go home and play in Texas like I was. So please tell me now if you're going to be bossing me around. Miranda said she was ready for them to stop her. Surprisingly, the opposite then happened. A big boss at the label, John Grady, looked her in the eye and told her, "Go make your record." You already know what happened. It was clear that Miranda Lambert is a strong person. Kerosene, Miranda Lambert's first record, came out in the summer of 2004. On top of that, 11 of the 12 songs were written by Miranda or with her help. That's right. There were no big-name artists giving her hits. Me and Charlie Talking, her first song, was written with her dad and Heather Little. Miranda wasn't going to let people in charge of her field tell her what to do. She said afterward that no one came to the office. No one threw songs at me. After a while, I played them the tracks. They told you that you did a wonderful job. To put it another way, she did it her way, and they were amazed. But Miranda was shocked and said, "This can't be real. The road has been so easy. This road has been built up one brick at a time. That's why I know this is what I need to do. I'm really happy. I feel like I'm really where it's all starting to happen." And she was right. Kerosene debuted at #1 on the Billboard Top Country Albums chart and eventually went platinum. It spawned 4 top 40 singles, including the title track, which became a top 20 hit. At the time, she was also touring with the likes of Keith Urban, Dierks Bentley, and Toby Keith. Not too shabby for a fresh face in country music. Speaking of fresh faces, in 2005, at the 40th Annual Academy of Country Music Awards in Vegas, she snagged the CoverGirl Fresh Face of Country Music Award. She also scored a nomination for the CMA Horizon Award, basically, Nashville's way of saying, "We see you, girl." Then came Crazy Ex-Girlfriend in 2007. Miranda's second album. She wrote 8 of the 11 tracks, proving once again that she wasn't about to be some label puppet. The New Yorker even compared her to none other than Dolly Parton, saying she had talent and charisma on a par with the Queen herself. But there was a hitch. Radio wasn't exactly rolling out the red carpet for Miranda. Despite her killer songs, she wasn't breaking into the top 10. Industry insiders were scratching their heads, wondering why. And Miranda? She was just as frustrated. Really don't understand radio at all. I don't feel like I'm too edgy or out there. A million people don't. I don't know what I could do differently. And if I did anything differently, I wouldn't be me. So I'm not going to. But I'm really frustrated. And here's where it gets interesting. Greg Svedberg, a big-shot country radio program director at the time, had an explanation. He admitted Miranda was one of the most talented females they had, and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was an awfully good record. Despite the radio struggle, she was getting major industry love. She landed a Grammy nomination for Kerosene and won the ACM Award for Top New Female Vocalist. Then, in 2008, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend did what radio couldn't. It won Album of the Year. By 2009, she was back with Revolution. And this time she wasn't leaving anything to chance. She co-wrote 11 out of 15 tracks, teaming up with big names like Dave Haywood and Charles Kelly of Lady Antebellum, plus her then-boyfriend Blake Shelton. The critics ate it up. Rolling Stone, Boston Globe, and Slant Magazine all raved about it, and Entertainment Weekly called it the best mainstream country album so far this year. Her single, Dead Flowers, made a splash at the ACM Awards in 2019. It was White Liar that really changed the game. It started at number 50 on Billboard's Hot Country Songs chart, but by February 2010, it became her first top 5 hit, peaking at number 2. And then came The House That Built Me, the song that finally cemented her place at the top. It went straight to number 1 and stayed there for 4 weeks. Not only that, but it also went platinum. But Miranda wasn't done. She dropped Only Prettier, and the music video was packed with cameos from Kelly Pickler, Laura Bell Bundy, and Hilary Scott of Lady Antebellum. The song went viral, and by December it peaked at number 12. Then came Heart Like Mine, with which Miranda scored her second number 1 hit on the country charts. By the end of 2010, she was breaking records left and right, racking up a historic number of CMA nominations. And when the big night came, she wasn't just a nominee. She was the star. She performed at the 44th Annual CMA Awards and walked away with the award for Female Vocalist of the Year. And did I mention? Revolution won Album of the Year. Miranda Lambert's story of heartbreaks and hit songs. Miranda Lambert kicked off 2012 with a bang, snatching a Grammy for The House That Built Me in the Best Female Country Vocal Performance category. But Miranda wasn't about to just sit back and bask in the glory. That same year, she decided to mix things up by forming a badass girl group, Pistolanis, alongside Ashley Monroe and Angelina Presley. Their debut single Hell on Heels dropped in May, and soon after, their album of the same name shot straight to number 1 on Billboard's country chart. Then, in a move no one saw coming, Miranda popped up on Law & Order Special Victims Unit in an episode called Father's Shadow on February 8, 2012. Fans were shook. Was Miranda about to trade in her guitar for a Hollywood script? Not quite. She later admitted she was just a die-hard fan of the show, saying, "I never wanted to act. I still don't. I don't want to be an actress. I just wanted to be on that show mainly so I could be a groupie for their autographs." Of course, she didn't let the TV spotlight distract her for too long. Back to music she went, and in 2014, she dropped her 5th album, Platinum. Then came The Weight of These Wings in 2016, along with another Pistolanis album. Miranda also took her talents across the pond. In March 2016, she performed for the first time outside the US and Canada at Country to Country, Europe's biggest country music festival. She rocked out alongside Dwight Yoakam, Thomas Rhett, and Ashley Monroe, taking over England, Scotland, and Ireland. By 2019, she was back with her 7th album, Wildcard, which ended up snagging a Grammy for Best Country Album in 2021. That same year, she teamed up with her longtime pals, John Randall and Jack Ingram, for the Marfa tapes, which the media hailed as her best work yet. She kept the hits coming with her 9th studio album, Palomino, and a Pistolanis Christmas album. But while Miranda was slaying the music scene, her love life was a bit of a roller coaster. Remember her romance with Blake Shelton? Sparks flew when they met at the CMT 100 Greatest Duets concert in 2005. She even sang backup on his cover of Michael Bublé's Home, which, surprise surprise, went straight to number 1. After dating for 4 years, Blake popped the question on May 9, 2010, right in the woods near Miranda's home in Tishomingo, Oklahoma. She was over the moon, saying, "I'm just excited to get married because I want to tell Blake I really can love him for the rest of my life and be happy and make him happy." Fast forward to May 14, 2011, the wedding bells rang. The two tied the knot at the Don Strange Ranch in Bourne, Texas, in front of a star-studded guest list. The party went all night long. But as we all know, Hollywood love stories don't always have fairy tale endings. After 4 years of marriage, Miranda and Blake shocked the world when they announced their divorce on July 20, 2015. Their statement was heartbreaking. "This was not our image of the future, and we each proceed forward at our own pace with heavy hearts. We are actual individuals with actual lives, families, friends, and co-workers. Therefore, in light of this very private circumstance, we respectfully request your privacy and compassion." The last time they were seen together was at the Greenbrier Classic Music Series in West Virginia, and after that, it was officially over. After being single for a while, Miranda started dating again. 4 years later, on January 26, 2019, she broke the hearts of all her fans by telling them she was not only in a new relationship but also married. Brendan, who used to work for the NYPD, came with a gift: a child from a past relationship, born in November 2018. Yes, Miranda added a 3-month-old baby to her family overnight. Talk about a surprise ending. Miranda published a cookbook in 2023 called Y'all Eat Yet? As if her life wasn't already full of exciting things. Hey there, this is Holly Gleason from the Pretty Beach Inn Kitchen. It wasn't the only thing that changed. There were 19 years that she worked for Sony Music Nashville before she quit. Then, in April 2024, Miranda said she had signed with Republic Records and Big Loud, which was a big change in her business. She came to kill. The first song from her new label, Wranglers, came out on May 3, 2024. It is the lead single from her 10th studio album, Postcards from Texas. There's more, though. She also put out a promotional track called Damn It Randy on June 28, 2024. She co-wrote the song with her husband Brendan. Miranda has been through a lot, from being a girl in a small town with hopes to becoming a country music star after a heartbreak that could have killed her. From a strong woman who got back up and kept going strong. Fans are excited to see what comes next as she starts this new journey. What do you think about this video? Doesn't Miranda Lambert's story move you? Feel free to share your ideas in the section below, as we read everything you write. Please click the like button to let us know if you like this in-depth look into Miranda's life. It helps us keep giving you the best rumors and behind-the-scenes stories about famous people. Would you like more juicy country music drama? More well-known love stories? More in-depth looks at your favorite stars? We'll do our best to bring you what you want to see next. Tell us in the comments. Also, remember to subscribe and turn on alerts so you never miss a video from us. We promise you that you won't want to miss what's coming next.